Apparently we're recording now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is actually my first video, so welcome to the channel. My name is Darcy Noon. I am a professional artist, but I'm also a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 kids. I have a daughter that's 2.5 years old, and I have a son that just turned 1 year old. I am also pregnant. I am 11 weeks along with baby number 3, so a lot going on. So I've always wanted to do a mom style channel, like vlogging. It's something I've always really wanted to do. And I'm also a very busy professional artist. This is one of the projects I'm currently working on for a client. So I thought it might be fun, instead of vlogging about my mom life, I'd rather just sit down and chat with you guys, share my stories about when I all started with my mom history, from the very first pregnancy, you know, all the way through, my birth stories, all that kind of stuff, my first experiences with my first newborn, all that kind of stuff, while working on my artwork. So I thought it'd be fun to bring you guys to work with me while I share a story. So the first one that I'm going to be sharing about is a very sensitive topic, but I think it's really necessary to share as well. It is about miscarriages. My first pregnancy ended in a miscarriage, and that does happen to a lot of women where they've been trying to have a kid or they accidentally get pregnant and their first one is a miscarriage, and it really takes you by surprise. It really shocks you, because if you've never if you've never been through one before, you don't think about that. You don't think about that possibility. You're just excited or you're shocked. All those emotions that comes along with finding out that you're pregnant for the first time. And so that's what I really want to share about, because I think it is so important as women, as mothers, to share our stories for other women that have gone through similar experiences, or people that want to become mothers down the future or very soon, and they're just wanting some information, but also mainly for people that might have gone through a similar circumstance and they just need to hear someone else's story so that they do not feel alone. That's my biggest goal for this channel, is to help you guys not feel alone. And I'm sorry if I say a lot. I have not spoken in front of people for a very long time. I've been out of college for, I don't know, like 5-6 years now, and that was the only time I had to do speeches. I know that there's no one like physically around me. It's just me sitting in my art studio doing artwork, but I'm still recording, I'm still uploading this in front of people, so if I say a lot, sorry. But anyway, I really hope that all of these different stories that I share with you really help you out and also give you information, whatever it does. That's why I call my channel my mom testimony, because I just want to talk about my experiences, what I go through, what I do with my kids and all that stuff, and that way, yeah, maybe it helps you out. So I want this to be very casual. It might change from, you know, you guys coming to work with me. It might change into a different style. There might actually be day in the life of a busy artist and mom and stuff like that. You guys seeing my kids or something like that. I might interject cute little videos of them if I'm talking about a certain subject. Same thing with like how the pregnancy's going with my 4th pregnancy, but this is hopefully to be my 3rd kid. You know, stuff like that, just depending on how popular this gets and how interested people are about this topic, and you guys can let me know. You know, you can interject in the comments down below. What are you interested in seeing? So for now, just come to work with me. So let me get started on my project here. I've already got a little bit up in this corner that you guys can't see. But I'm gonna get started on this project of this beautiful husky, and I will talk about my first pregnancy and also the miscarriage. So to start off with, not every miscarriage is the same. And I didn't realize this until I had my first pregnancy and my first miscarriage. So my husband and I were blessed to be able to start planning for a family. We started trying for a kid right away. We had been together, I'd say about 2 years, a little less than 2 years, when we started wanting to have a family together. And we got pregnant pretty quickly. It only took us, I think it was the 2nd month of trying. So we're definitely fertile. We didn't ever have that problem, thank goodness. I feel really blessed about that. And at the time, I don't know, I think I wanted maybe like at least 2 kids. I definitely wanted to have siblings, but I never had gone through pregnancy before. I had never become a mother, so I didn't really know what to expect. My husband did want a bigger family, just because he really loves children. So we got pregnant right away. And what's cute about most of my pregnancies, including this one, is like at 2 weeks, which you can't even test at 2 weeks pregnant. That's pretty much like conception. He told me that I was pregnant. And so for 2 weeks, I'm just hanging out like, oh my gosh, am I pregnant or not? What is this? This guy is just crazy. What is he saying? Like, how does he know? So I waited all the way until the day before my missed period. So a day early to test. And I took a pregnancy test because he'd throw me off for a loop, and I was super excited to find out. So I took the test, and it came back positive like right away. Definitely was pregnant. So we got super excited. We called my family. We called his family. My family and his family didn't even know that we're actually trying for a kid. So this definitely took them off for a surprise, but they're all excited about it. We were super excited about it. At 9 weeks pregnant, I went to my first OBGYN appointment. They typically want you to wait until you're at least 8 weeks along before you go in, because it's easier to see the baby at that point. There's, you know, also the heartbeat. They actually hear the heartbeat and all that kind of stuff. The heartbeat can actually start as early as 3 weeks, but they just prefer to wait until at least 2 months before they have the actual appointment. So I come in, I have my appointment. I get to see what I call the little peanut. They look like little peanuts at that age. There's barely any definition at that age. They're very tiny, but you can definitely hear the heartbeat. The heartbeat sounded good. The lady that was doing the ultrasound sounded all good about it, and there was no cause to be concerned. I didn't have another appointment until 12 weeks, and this was also another ultrasound as well. And I didn't have any cramping. I didn't have any bleeding. I also didn't have any morning sickness. Some women are blessed. Some women don't have morning sickness. Some women have it right off the bat, and that's why they know that they're pregnant. Some people don't. Like for me, I didn't get it with my other pregnancies until 9 weeks, and is when I started to get really bad, and it only went to 14 weeks. So I didn't have any indication except for the lack of morning sickness. But again, like I said, that isn't really an indication that something had gone wrong. So I thought everything was going normally. I thought everything was all good. I was excited about it. My actual due date was January 1st, which was really exciting as well. I thought that was so cool. My mom was teasing me that saying hopefully the baby would come a couple days earlier, so it would still be in 2017 for tax reasons, because she's a CPA, so she's funny about that stuff. So when I didn't bring my husband in for the 12-week appointment because I thought that everything was going to be just fine. I get in there, and I don't know the size that the baby should be. You know, this is all brand new to me, so I wasn't really aware of how big a baby should be. And right off the get-go, the lady that was doing the ultrasound, the tech, got kind of quiet. And she looked at me, and she's like, "I am so sorry, but there is no heartbeat." And I was like, oh my gosh, I mean, you think my body would tell me that there was something going on. And so I asked her, I was like, when did the baby, pass away? When did it stop growing? And she said it happened at 9.5 weeks. So it was only 3 days after that first ultrasound that I had lost the baby. And it was just so shocking to me because for 2.5 weeks, there was still a baby inside of me, but the baby had stopped growing, and it weirded me out. I just, with all the emotions going on during that time, it was weird. It was sad. It was also shocking at the same time. I did not expect, you don't want to expect this kind of stuff. You don't expect miscarriages, especially when you want to have a family, whether you plan on it or not, whether it's unexpected. It's not something that you're anticipating at all. It's something that it hits you out of the blue, and the first emotions that you go through are shock. I didn't cry in front of the lady. I just went into a separate room and I just bawled my eyes out, and then I called my husband, told him, and he went through the same thing. He was in shock as well. But yeah, for me, the biggest hiccup was that my body didn't tell me. I didn't have any signs or symptoms. I'm like, how am I supposed to know going forward from this that everything is okay? How am I supposed to know that I actually, the baby inside of me is growing? And it is hard. The first 12 weeks of pregnancy is going to be the most worrisome for a lot of women, because you can't feel the kid yet, you don't feel the movements and stuff like that. That also really helps you out, because that really tells you that everything's going good, because you can feel your baby moving inside of there. And also, typically once you hit, a lot of nurses told me 14 weeks is the safety zone. Once you hit 14 weeks, my mom always said 12 weeks, but once you hit 14 weeks, you're safe at that point. And so that's why I'm saying that the 12 weeks, the first 12 weeks is always the hardest one. Like right now with this pregnancy, I haven't had a lot of morning sickness. I had like a week and a half of it, and I have had off and on bleeding from a subchromatic hematoma, and so I'm super nervous about my next appointment coming up in about a week and a half, which is the one that, actually today's Thursday, yeah, so exactly a week from today, which will let me know if everything's good. So if baby's all good and heartbeat's all strong, then I can kind of relax for this third baby. And I'll explain that coming up here pretty soon about what, especially a missed miscarriage, that's what they call them, is a missed miscarriage. They also call them a missed abortion as well. And this just means that even though the fetus, the baby has died, it has stopped growing, there's no heartbeat, your body still thinks it's pregnant. It still holds on to the baby. And that can be very confusing for people. It can be also just a total shocker. So my emotions that I had gone through with all of that was first shock. Obviously, I didn't expect this. I didn't plan on this. I thought that I was healthy. My husband was healthy. I thought that, you know, everything was going to go good. Second part was definitely anger. My husband went down a route of trying to figure out why this happened. He was trying to blame things that are happening. Our house was getting painted, and our landlord was forcing us to have the house painted because he was trying to sell it. So he was trying to blame the landlord for having paid with a pregnant woman in there, all this kind of stuff. My reaction was, I had a close friend at the time who had an abortion. I also had a family member that had given their kid up for adoption. I also had a lot of friends that were not planning on having kids, but that got pregnant, and the pregnancies were just fine. And I got mad at those people. I got upset about those people, because here I was with my husband trying to actually have a kid. And even though we were trying to have a kid, we were, you know, it felt like we were doing it the right way, we lost the kid. And so it felt unfair. And I honestly, I haven't talked to a lot of women that have had miscarriages, so I honestly don't know if that is something that other women have gone through. That's just something personally I went to, is I had a moment of time where I got angry at people, for the people that had given up their kids, for the people that, you know, ended their pregnancies on their own. I just felt unfair. After that point, and these emotions just come all together all at once. The other part was, I sat down with a lady at the OBGYN. Her name was, actually I won't say her name, just because this is going to be on YouTube. Super nice lady. She's a little bit older. She's always there. I've always seen her follow my different pregnancies and stuff like that too. So the second time I came in with my daughter's pregnancy, she was so happy to see me come in there with an actual pregnancy that was progressing, and I was farther along when I saw her and all that kind of stuff. So she was super happy, because she had remembered the miscarriage. And so after I found out the news, they had me go sit and talk to her, because I had to talk about options. I had to talk about what they call on D&C. So she sat down and she talked to me about why this had happened. Early on in the pregnancy, type of miscarriages are very, very common. 1 in 4 women will get it. 25%, it's high. And so the other thing is that there was something wrong with the chromosomes, or more than likely it was wrong with the chromosomes, that the body had decided that this fetus, that this baby, was not going to have a viable life. And so it ended the pregnancy. It was like, you know, life's trying to be fair to that life, saying you're not going to have a good life, you're not going to survive, so we're going to end it right now. So when I realized the science behind it, why people have miscarriages early on, like, you know, before you get into your second trimester, around between, like, you know, the 4 and the 12-week period of time, that helped me a lot, because I'm a pretty reasonable person. I can be emotional sometimes, but I'm also very reasonable. And so when I got that information, it made a lot of sense to me, and that really helped me out. It helped me not blame myself. It helped my husband also not blame himself as well for the miscarriage, because that's something else you can go through. You blame yourself or you blame people around you for this because it's so unfair, and you need to have a reason why this tragedy happened to you. And so you look for those kind of answers. That's one of the things that I feel like a lot of people do in the midst of any kind of tragedy. And so it really helped out with that it was just, it's part of life. And it did help me out recover after that point. So I had to set an appointment for the D&C. The D&C was actually an actual surgery. So they did have to go in and take the baby out because my body wasn't releasing it. She told me that eventually down the road I would have an actual miscarriage, like my body would let go of it. She didn't know exactly when, but she said because I was 9.5 weeks along, it would have been painful to go through. So she said I recommend doing the D&C. And for me, like going through a normal miscarriage and with all the bleeding and all that kind of stuff, I feel like that would have been a little too traumatic for me. And so I said, okay, but they didn't have a spot open for like another couple of days. And so I had to just walk around like that with the knowledge that my baby 2.5 weeks ago had stopped growing and I wasn't pregnant anymore. And I had told so many people at my church, I had told many people in my community that I was pregnant because I was so excited. A lot of people, for this very reason, wait until they're at least 12 weeks along before they tell people that they're pregnant. Because I had told so many people. And so I had to go, when I was running into people, I had to tell them, no, I'm no longer pregnant anymore. I've lost the kid. And it was just very shocking also at the same time. And it keeps hitting you in waves. You hate when people come up and it's like, oh, hey, I saw the pregnancy go and I heard you're pregnant. Congratulations. And you're like, yeah, not anymore. And I think that's the hardest part. And I honestly thought that because my husband and I, as soon as we had the D&C, we didn't want to give up on having a kid. We realized that it was part of nature, that this is life, that this can happen, and we didn't want to give up. So as soon as we were able to, we started trying again. And with the D&C and only being 9.5 weeks pregnant with the first one, we are actually able to start right away. The doctor said that was just fine. And I thought that with my second pregnancy, and hopefully my first kid, that I wouldn't post it on Facebook and everything. It's not official until you post it on Facebook, right? I didn't think I was going to be the type of person that at 4 weeks, as soon as I found out that I would post it. And I did though. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I was excited. And I feel like if you let the possibility, the fear of a miscarriage and loss hold you down from sharing your happy news with people, that you're letting yourself let fear take over. That's just me personally. If you're pregnant or you just found out and you want to wait until 12 weeks, you want to wait until you have your second appointment or you're a little bit further along in your pregnancy before you tell people, that's totally up to you. For me personally, I cannot keep secrets at all. Certain secrets I can, but this stuff, no, it's too exciting, so I couldn't hold into it. Especially because I wanted my friends and I wanted my family to know that we get another chance. And it was the perfect timing that we got pregnant with my daughter. When my husband and I were trying for the first one, we decided to do all this together. We got engaged, and that's when we decided to start trying for families, when we got engaged, because we had been together for a couple of years, but were very close with each other. So we had felt like we'd been married from the very beginning. Ever since we got together, we always wanted to have kids. We always wanted to be together. And so we just didn't want to wait anymore. So we decided, let's get engaged, let's start trying for a family. So it took like 3 months this time to get pregnant the next time after the D&C. And so I conceived in August, found out in September, middle of September. My birthday is September 18th. I found out I was pregnant on September 16th. My husband and I officially got married on September 20th. And his birthday's on the 23rd. So we got a lot of stuff going on in that week. But it was really fun. So I made the really fun announcement that God had given me a new birthday present. And it was a new chance at a baby. And I was just so excited. After going through any miscarriage, especially a missed miscarriage, because again, your body doesn't tell you that you've lost a child. For the first 10 weeks, it was pretty hard being pregnant with my daughter, because every second of every day I was worried that I was going to lose the pregnancy again. My mom, unfortunately, has gone through, I think, at least like 5 miscarriages. She had a thyroid problem. So I was afraid of going through the same issues that she had, constant miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. And I was really afraid of that. And so it wasn't until, I think it was 13 weeks, 11 and a half or 13 weeks, I forget which one, that I had that second ultrasound appointment for, that I could tell right away that everything was good, because I could see the actual heart beating on this one. The size, like the baby was a lot bigger as well than the other ultrasounds, so there was a lot of indications that everything was good. So I just got so excited. So when I hit that point, I was able to relax and I was able to sit back and just enjoy my pregnancy. But for that first 12 weeks, I drove myself crazy, I drove my husband crazy, I drove my family crazy, because I didn't know what was going on. And actually, to this day, it's also affected my 4th pregnancy, my hopefully my 3rd kid, because this is the first pregnancy I've ever had heavier bleeding. I've had very small amount of spotting with my daughter, but very, very tiny, and only like a day or 2 of it. This one, I was having brighter blood, and I really thought at like 4 weeks and a couple days that I was having a miscarriage, because I was having quite a bit of blood coming out. It was very bright blood too. So I went to the ER, because I also had some stomach pains too. They did the ultrasound and like, yeah, the baby's all good, there's a heartbeat. And they let me know that I had a subchromatic hematoma, which just means that there was, when the placenta was first attaching and forming to the wall, that it slightly detached from the wall and caused a little bit of blood around there, and that blood was coming out. And you can actually, it does happen to quite a bit of women, and is the main cause. This is just stuff that I've researched and also talked to doctors and nurse practitioners about, is that it's the main cause of bleeding in your first trimester. And so I've still in my first trimester, so I'm still continuing to have bleeding. I'm not walking my dog anymore like I was. I am trying to take it a little bit easier. It's a little hard when you're chasing a toddler and a baby around the house, but I'm not doing as much walking as I was before, just to cut down on the bleeding, because it can heal on its own and it can go away on its own, and typically it does go away on its own. But when you've gone through a miscarriage, even though there's no cramping that I've had, I've just had bleeding, and there's no like clots or anything like that, which is more of an indication of miscarriage. I've been through that experience, so I don't know. So at this stage, I'm going to be honest. Every day I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, is everything good? I cannot wait until next week's appointment to find out if everything's okay. Can I really just tell myself, yes, you are pregnant with baby number 3. Yes, you are having a kid in May. Get excited about this stuff. And I don't want to. I don't want to get my hopes up again, because even though my son was an unplanned pregnancy, I'm really glad that he came into my life, and I'll talk about that down the road, about how much a God-given gift he was. This 3rd pregnancy was planned. We want either 3 kids or we want 4 kids. We'll see how it goes. And it seems like every time you want something, you try for something, and I'm sorry if it sounds depressing, but that's the times that you fear it the most. And like I said, it's just, that's what miscarriages do to you. And so hopefully, if you have been through a miscarriage and you're still trying to have a kid, have hope. Continue to hope that everything's going to be okay. Continue to have the hope that you will be a parent eventually, someday. And also, if you've had a miscarriage early on, just know that it's part of life, that 1 in 4 women go through it. A lot of women could go through it. I have a friend that had, she's had a total of 4 miscarriages, but 3 miscarriages, then she had her daughter, and then she had another miscarriage. So, just always have hope. There's always that possibility. There's always that chance. And if it's an early on miscarriage, it's life's way of saying, like, sorry, this life isn't going to make it. And hopefully that knowledge that it's scientific, that there's a reason behind this, it's nothing that you did as a parent, there's nothing else that someone else did, it just happens, helps you not blame yourself. It's not your fault. I think that's a big lesson that parents really need to know, especially moms need to know, is that it's not your fault, and it's a part of life. not get a lot of artwork done by chatting with you guys, but this is also a very serious topic as well at the same time. So I really hope this has helped you guys. I hope my story just lets you know that you're not alone. And also, if you're pregnant again after a miscarriage, I really hope this also makes you understand that you're not alone if you're freaking out. Also, if you've had a miscarriage and you really want to get pregnant again and you've been obsessing over it and being obsessed over being pregnant and all stuff, that you're also not alone. I went through that too. I really obsessed over it. I really told my husband, let's get pregnant. We gotta go. I'm in my window. Let's do this kind of stuff like that. Focus on those things. You're not alone in this journey as well. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you do like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you like this style of me just sitting here working on some projects, hopefully next time I do this, I have a project that is a little bit more involved that you guys can see as well. Maybe that'd be really fun if you guys can see what I really do for a living. I'm trying to look for projects that I've done that are in my studio. Yep, I got doggy. This one I did the other day. And so I do a lot of these little color pencil portraits on wood for clients. That's what I do for a living, so that's pretty fun. And then also just some other mom topics. The next one will be about my pregnancy and my birth story with my daughter. So I hope you have a good day. Bye.